Yes, thank you. We respectfully request the Sangha great virtues for the sake of this assembly and all living beings. Please turn the wonderful Dharma wheel to teach and guide us how to end birth and death, leave suffering and attain bliss, and quickly realize non-birth. Cung thính đại đức thắng thịnh, vì thứ pháp hội khắp nhật thiết chúng sanh. Tịnh chuyên diệu pháp luân giao đạo ngã mùng, như há liễu sanh thoát từ ly khổ đạc lạc, tất chứng vô sanh. Homage to the Blessed, Noble, and Perfectly Enlightened One. Nam mô Sa Đàn Thô Sư Chế Đô Ye Ơ La Hờ Đi San Mèo San Phụ Tô Xie. Nam mô Tát Đắc Tha Tô Ya Đà Ya La Ha Đề Tam Miệu Tam Bồ Đà Toa. The unsurpassed, profound, subtle, and wonderful Dharma in 100,000 million aeons is difficult to encounter. Now that I'm able to see and hear, I will receive and maintain it. I vow to fathom the thus come one's true and actual principles. Wu shang sheng sheng wei miao fa bai jian, wan jie nan zao yu. 我今见闻得受持，愿解如来真实义。All Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, great Master Jing Liang, and Master YongHua, all good monks and nuns, and all good new advisors of Emitofuo. 诸佛菩萨、精良大师、师父、上人各位出家人各位上sư sư Mỹ Tô Phổ. Chư Phật Bồ Tát kính thưa Thanh Lương Đại sư Thượng Tịnh Hoa, quý thầy cô và các vị thiện sĩ Thích Ca Di Đà Phật. Hello everyone. Today is the 12th of July 2024. We're here at Little Way Mountain Temple to continue discussing the prologue to the Avatamsaka Sutra. Thank you for joining us. We're right now on door number 2, the stores and its teachings contained therein, and slide 890. Okay, so Master Jing Liang is a real Mahayana scholar. He's a scholar, and he's proving himself here. He's talking about how he's being Chinese, but he went back to the Indian teachings, meaning he really could understand Sanskrit, and to be able to go into the Sanskrit teachings. And so he was able to compare the two schools, major schools of Mahayana in Indian Buddhism, the Dharma Mark school and the Dharma Nature school. Okay, for example, Master Xuanzang, the great Chinese master who went from China to India to seek the proper Dharma, Mahayana, he was only able to learn the Dharma Mark school, whereas Master Jing Liang can really master both schools. You see, that's kind of scholar he was. And so he's been discussing them, and now he says, these are different schools, but if you want to combine the two schools, there are certain aspects that you need to understand before you can really merge the two teachings. all right? He's showing where he showed his prowess. He's able to master one side school versus the other schools. Whereas for the Indian Buddhists and Mahayana Buddhists, they only need to do one school, okay? That's enough for them to get there. But for him, he wants to merge the two. And which begs the question, as I was preparing for it tonight, I said, why would you want to merge them? No one ever asked, why would you want to merge the two schools? Huh? Why would you merge them? What's the point in merging them? You see, to me, I may be speaking, I may be overreaching, but to me, there's a weakness here. Why would you want to combine them? To me, I respect the great bodhisattvas who founded the two schools, Dharma School and Dharma Nature School, because they saw a need and they worked very well for the Indians. Okay? Who are we? Even if the Chinese think they understand everything, why would they want to combine it? Because it's an Indian thing. It worked for them already. Now the Buddhism is in China. So take care of the Chinese. Why would you want to combine the Indian teachings? What for? Each teaching is to serve a certain kind of Indian Buddhists. Okay? And who are we, let's say from a Chinese perspective, to decide to combine the two? That to me is where Master Ching Liang is overdoing it. It's okay to say, let me explain to you what the Dharma Mark Schools is about, Dharma Nature is about, and this is how they, this is how they chose to classify the Buddhist teaching in order to help their own kinds. But who are we as Chinese or as Westerners or even our times to decide we should combine them? What for? To me, being from American perspective, combining them takes a lot of expertise, granted, but what for? Is it better? It's going to be better in any way? I'm very practical. You come to me and said, I want to combine the two schools. The first question, I want to ask is, what's the benefits? Yeah? If you do that, what's the point? And number two, how much is it going to cost me? Are you kidding me? When I see you, I see a lot of things that you're supposed to do. And you're asking me, let me combine the two schools. And what happened to my projects? See the problem I have? So that's why this is where I respectfully disagree with them. And Master YongHua, yes, he's also very scholarly as well. He shows his prowess here as well. But to me, it's a little bit excessive. And I bring it up not because out of criticism, but out of the admission that I fail to understand the use of doing this section. How does it help me? How does it help my students? Okay, please help me out. I bring it out in the open because maybe from your perspective it's useful to you. Maybe you see something I don't understand. But to me, it seems like not a very useful thing to do. To me, it's not appreciating the insight of the great Bodhisattva who taught the Dharma Mark schools and who decided to teach Dharma Nature schools. They saw something there that we did not see because we're not Indians. We're not there. And to me, I struggle with that concept. It's not appreciating what they've done, not being respectful enough of their success, their accomplishments. They help Indian Buddhism for a long, long time, produce a lot of great talents. Maybe the time is gone. Maybe it's no longer applicable to China. Okay, fine. Applicable to the US, that's fine. But if such is the case, why would you want to combine it? Help me out. What do you think? Go Forest.
I think this is maybe just a way for Master Qing Liang to trying to contribute and add his own Dharma. But then maybe your point is to, instead of combine, just directly add a new Dharma, speak his own Dharma, instead of trying to combine the two schools. Is that the point?
Could be. He adds his own, but doesn't have to combine them.
Right.
Combine for who? Who is he addressing? Which needs are we talking about? Who has such needs? I need to see it. That's my bias, by the way. Before you ask me to commit my resources to do something, you need to tell me the benefits. What are the benefits? I fail to understand it because it's no longer for the Indians. This is for the Chinese now. Is it useful for our generation? I don't think so. That's my problem. And I'm bringing it out in the open because it's a challenge to all of you. Okay, my peers and the future generation, you should disagree with me with facts. Tell me that it's useful to you and it's a good thing to do, okay? I would appreciate it, okay? And this is more fuel to my point. That is, it's a scholarly thing from my perspective, and it's great for India, it's great for Chinese, but for me, in this early stage of Mahayana in the US, I don't find it very useful at all. That's my problem. But you need, this is part of the process. You need to keep an open mind. Listen and let it sink in naturally. You don't have to reject it. Just because we discuss it, okay, doesn't mean we have to reject it. Okay? It's a great work, in other words. Okay? And out of respect for Master Qing Liang, out of respect for Master YongHua, I admit I don't understand. Because for my pursuits, my interests, doesn't really jive. Okay? And to me, this is great for a very limited number of practitioners. And personally, I'm not trying to serve that group. Okay? I'm trying to serve from 0 to very high, but not that small group. Because if I start to go into that kind of detail, I will lose all of you. I don't want to lose you. Okay? But let's go through them, okay? And feel free to ask questions. 890. There are in general set forth under a number of headings. 1, the differences in the one vehicle and the 3 vehicles. 2, the differences in the one nature and the 5 natures.
略叙数条：一者，一圣三圣别；二，一性五性别。
Okay. Followings are the important concepts that we should listen to, try to go as far as we want to go, so that, again, in the future, when smart Alex come to you and try to 难问你, 难问你, 很难. You should listen to these concepts, because in the future, there's some people, your turn to teach, and there's some smart Alex who come to you and throw these words at you, trying to impress and trying to confuse you, okay? You should not be impressed, because most of these scholars only hear the vocabulary, know the jargon, but none of them really understands the meaning. Yes, 7. So don't be impressed. We don't know everything, and admit so, but don't be impressed by them either.
Thank you, Master. Venerable Xian Shou has a comment.
Yes.
He says, combining them could help to see if they are lacking points in either of the both schools.
True. You can combine them and you see the weaknesses and strength and so forth. Okay? But how does it help us?
Master, I'm speaking just for myself. It just sounds like it's an intellectual, just like an intellectual process.
Yeah.
And it doesn't further what you can do in your cultivation.
Well, if you're seeking knowledge, then you can go into this dissection of things like that. But again, as I said, you're seeking knowledge. You can read this. You can do it at your own leisure. My interest was to teach as many people as possible, because it will help the more people who understand Mahayana, the stronger of a base Mahayana you will have for the future generations. Okay? And so, for example, if we were to continue this, all we're doing is stay within the shadow of Master XuanHua's base. My interest is expanded so that we have a bigger base for you to build up more Mahayana fortresses, palaces, whatever you want to call it. Okay? All right, let's go through them. They are in general set forth under a number of headings which give an overall picture. Okay. So he says, if you want to combine them, you need to understand these major differences. Okay, and he's going to go through them. He says, the first one is differences in one vehicle and three vehicles. Okay, vehicle is a concept that in Buddhism, when these people dissect it, they said one vehicle means the Buddha vehicle, three vehicles means what? Sound hearer vehicle, Pratyeka Buddha vehicle, and Bodhisattva vehicle. Is that clear? Okay, so these are simple jargons, fundamental jargon you should know about. Okay, why is there a differentiation? This is because this is how far the teachings can take you. If you are part of the the Arhat vehicle, meaning that the teaching there can take you as far as a 4A, 4-stage Arhat. That's it. Okay, it lacks the proper foundation for you to build higher. Okay, you need to be wary of how far you could go. The analogy is that when you apply for admission to a college, okay, is it a 4-year degree, bachelor's degree? Is it a master's degree? Is it a PhD degree? Is it a postdoctorate degree? Okay, you need to go and need to understand how far you need to go. Same thing in Buddhism. When you practice Buddhism, you join an organization. Okay, whether it's a college or a temple or a teacher, you need to see what is a range. Just because you learn Buddhism in school and so forth, is not going to last for you. Okay? And so the three vehicles is what later was classified to help us recognize very fast. Okay? So that when we study Buddhism, these scholars, the monk scholars, classify them to help us not waste time. So three vehicles refers to, again, Arhat vehicle, where you will reach fourth stage Arhat. And then next level is Pratyeka Buddha vehicle, where you reach a Pratyeka Buddha, solitarily enlightened being, who has a higher level wisdom than the Arhats. That's why they're separated. Okay? And the practice is different, therefore it brings different results. Okay? And the third vehicle being the Bodhisattva vehicle, where you practice the paramitas. Your practices are designed to open your prajna wisdom. Okay? And you become a Bodhisattva. Okay? That's considered to be Mahayana vehicle. Okay? And so we're talking about the first two vehicles are small enlightenment. We combine them into small enlightenment because it's useful, but it doesn't go far enough. Okay? And the third vehicle, the Bodhisattva vehicle, is what we recommend to our people, where you should shoot for that. Okay? And because of the goals, you see, the Buddha taught them, transmitted to them the various different types of Dharma doors. Okay? For example, for the Arhat vehicles, he taught the four truths, the four noble truths. Truths of suffering, accumulation, extinction, and the way. Those are the four truths. Okay? And you practice that, you reach fourth stage Arhat. You practice 12 causal conditions, the causal link. Okay? Then you reach Pratyeka Buddhahood. Okay? First is ignorance, which gives rise to activity, okay, which brings in consciousness, and so forth. 12, all 12. Okay? All the way to birth, to old age and death. All right? As a 12 conditional arising. And the 6 paramitas, okay, so the 6 paramitas are for the Bodhisattva vehicle. You want to be a Bodhisattva, you have to practice the 6 paramitas. All the Bodhisattva practices fall under the 6 paramitas. Every single Dharma door in Mahayana is under the umbrella of 6 paramitas. Meaning Chan is 6 paramitas, Pure Land is 6 paramitas, Secret School is 6 paramitas. If anyone says, I'm Secret School and therefore I'm better than you, they don't know what they're talking about. If anyone who says, I only practice Chan, I don't know Pure Land, it's because they don't understand Chan yet. They haven't practiced Chan to the ultimate, then they realize that Chan is 6 paramitas. If you practice Pure Land to the ultimate, you realize Pure Land is 6 paramitas. You practice Secret School to the ultimate, you realize it's the 6 paramitas. In other words, in order to teach Chan effectively, you need to understand the 6 paramitas. In order for you to make it the Pure Land, you need to understand the 6 paramitas. If you want to be Supreme Master or Dalai Lama, whoever, you need to understand the 6 paramitas. Isn't that interesting? Does it help? This gives you insight. So when you listen to a master and says, I'm supreme master and so forth, and you listen again, you see what they're teaching. Are they teaching about 6 paramitas or not? You listen to Hua teacher. Are they teaching 6 paramitas? Huh? Teach Pure Land. I'm so desperate, I want to go to Pure Land. How is it 6 paramitas? Desperation. Which paramita is desperation again? Huh? Come. What's when you're so desperate to go to the Pure Land? What paramita is that? Not seriously. I have a problem with the Asians teaching Pure Land Buddhism that way. I do anything. I just need to go to the Pure Land. How is that the 6 paramitas? Okay? Next. And so he says, the Dharma Mark School, this is for our reference, Dharma Mark School, that's Master Xuan Zhang's specialty, are not the ultimate doctrine of Dharma Mark School. For Dharma Nature School, the one vehicle is a single Buddha vehicle, besides which is all of a vehicle. Okay, and therefore, you see, this is where the 2 schools differ. The Dharma Nature School says only one Buddha vehicle, nothing else. Okay, and the Dharma Mark School says there's several different vehicles, and therefore, that's why the clash. Okay. Number 2, 893. 2. What are different about between the 2 is the differences in one nature versus 5 natures. Okay. One nature in a Dharma Nature School, the principle of the Buddha nature, only one nature. Okay. Buddha nature includes everything, whereas the Dharma Mark School is more specific. They talk about 5 natures. What are the 5 natures? Go to them, okay? Fixed nature, sound hearers, fixed nature, conditionally enlightened, fixed nature, bodhisattvas, and those with unfixed nature, and those who lack seed nature. Okay. What do they mean exactly? You don't have to memorize them, just want to hear them, okay? First 3 are fixed, okay? Fixed sound hearers, fixed conditional enlightened. Meaning what? They're talking about these people who are so stuck on their attainment. They reach Arhat and they happy. They don't want to go further. That includes an Arhat, includes solitarily enlightened or practical Buddhas. That also includes bodhisattvas as well, by the way. Meaning, if you think you are so good and you are a bodhisattva, okay, you are considered fixed nature because you ain't seen nothing yet. Okay? That's next one is unfixed nature. Unfixed nature is that it varies. Okay, whatever is good for us, we use it, and after we use it, we dump it. We find something else better. That's why it's unfixed. Okay, not rigid, and that's what cultivation is about. South Carolina. Okay, it's not always that it's logical to you, that you like, okay? Part of cultivation is to bear what you don't like. That prepares you to be unfixed. If you only progress along the lines of the predictable, then you won't get very far. You belong to the fixed nature. Unfixed is that zigzagging. Okay? a windshield wiper, however you want to call it. Okay? And so sometimes, like this is more our process, sometimes we do gradual teaching. We let you, try Chinese food, Mexican food, bread and butter. Okay? Don't say that, no, I only want pizza with honey. Yuck. That kind of thing. You go along. That's unfixed nature. Okay? And that's the training. The training you're undergoing is actually unfixed. We allow you to be fixed for a while, allow you to say, I only do son. No, because that's what my masters and what my seniors tell me to do. That's fixed nature. Okay? Be careful. And losers lack seed nature. Basically, they're losers. They won't listen. There's not much we can do. All right? 896. 3, the differences in the truth and falseness of what is mine alone. 4, the differences in true suchness according with conditions or congealing.
3,唯心真妄别。4，真如随缘宁然别。
Okay, 897. So we talked about 10 differences, and the next 8 will be briefly discussed. And they will be discussed in greater details in door number 3. That's why he's going to list them out first. Okay, and we, as I said, although I appreciate that our team has been spending a lot of time translating door number 3, but we're going to stop. Okay, after this door number 2. Okay, we understand each other. Okay, don't get afflicted. Okay, you spend a lot of time, a lot of work, but you should be unfixed about it, dump it for the greater good. Any problems? All right. And the third difference is that in the truth and falseness of what is mind. Okay, what is mind, true or false? Okay, so this mind is true or false. Again, you see, this is what you're going to read a lot in the Chan literature, or the people who or the scholars who talk about mind, because the Buddhists seem to be so obsessed with mind. Okay, mind king and all the terms. I used to be so frustrated because no one could tell me what mind is. And because of this, they're talking about things that really are not something you can understand. It doesn't matter, okay? Because it's mind here, seen. What is it referring to? You don't know what it is. Is it a false mind or is it true mind? If the false mind, you don't know exactly what it is. The true mind, for sure, you don't know what it is either. So that's why to argue over the mind, the term mind, will add only to your confusion. That's my problem. My approach is to help you discover your false mind, face your false mind, and use it to unveil your true mind. Who cares about what it is? It's about you uncovering your true mind. Any problems? Okay? They talk, we do. Next, 4. The difference is in true suchness, according with conditions, or congealing. Okay? And so, depending on the school, some schools, the Dharma nature schools, says that the true suchness is able to accord with conditions. Okay? Whatever it means. Don't worry about it, okay? Because you don't know what true suchness is. Whether you say it accords or doesn't accord, whoopee. That should not stop you from voting this November. Okay? So why does it matter? All right? Or congealing, whatever. Congealing is that it doesn't accord with conditions. It's fixed. Okay? It's not, it says here, not moving, okay? But, so congealing is not moving, but not according, not being able to accord with conditions. This is very scholarly because that's not how you function. That's why I don't give a darn. Okay? See, this is why I struggle. I was preparing this. This is the third or fourth time I look at this again because we keep on missing it. We during the Chanchi, I prepared, and then we ran out of time because people started asking me questions, which you should feel free to ask anytime. Okay, so over and over again, I went over and over this, and I don't find it very useful for you. 5, the difference is in whether the three natures are empty, existent, identical, or separate. 6, the difference is in whether living beings and the Buddha involve no increase and no decrease.
5. 三性空有即离别。6. 生佛不生不减别。
900 commentary slide. The 5th difference is about whether the three natures are empty, existent, identical, or separate. Okay, now this is important for you to remember the three natures because I want to keep on harping on you about these things because they're useful for you in the future. Okay, the three natures are natures everywhere calculated and attached to. That's very confused nature. You so calculating constantly. What's in it for me? Why is it beneficial? Okay, why should I take a loss? Okay, that's what you do. You calculate constantly, seeking gains and avoiding losses, and that's the calculating mind. Okay? And this is what ordinary people rely on. And you need to identify it. You want to talk to them, you need to speak the same language. Present information to them so that their mind can understand, that it can calculate, and can attach to it. See? It's very useful knowledge. Yeah? Second nature, in nature arises dependent on something else. This refers to the arhats and sound hearers. They have some wisdom based on a certain knowledge called the Four Truths, the 12 conditional arisals, okay? And to them, that's the Bible. So they stuck on that. It says the whole universe is based on 4 truths. The whole universe is based on the 12 condition link, okay? And that is so true to them. That is the ultimate principle that they don't realize is a nature that arises depend on something else, meaning their wisdom, the wisdom they develop, okay, is heavily dependent upon those principles. They don't realize those principles are temporary teachings. We in Mahayana can go through the 6 paramitas arrived and surpassed their levels and at the same time avoiding the attachment to that knowledge or those principles. Okay? And finally, the perfectly accomplished real nature, that is the Buddha nature. All right? So it's good to understand this. So that's why this is important for you in the future when you feel the need to teach, to help others. You have to learn to recognize what is their nature. If they're adamant about knowledge, about logic, what nature is that? One, calculates and attached to. You need to speak the same language. Don't tell them about anything higher than that. Okay? All right? So these three natures, the two schools, they look at them as empty, existent, identical, or separate. Okay? They look at them differently. Okay? So what are they talking about? Empty. The three natures really are intrinsically empty. Okay? So you differentiate them, they still are all empty. Or they're existent. Okay? They're real. For example, the sound hearers look at the nature as real. Their knowledge is real. It's fundamental to them. Okay? So it's coexistent. And identical, meaning that meaning that it's both empty and existent. Okay? Or they're separate, meaning that they are differentiated. Okay, that's all it means. Don't worry about it. Okay. 6, the differences in whether living beings of the Buddha involve no increase or no decrease. Okay. So the scholars would like to discuss about the nature, the concept, the Buddhist, Mahayana Buddhist concept of nature. So they talk about the Buddha nature versus our nature, living beings' nature. Are they different? Are they smaller, bigger, same, different, and so forth? Or they increase or decrease? Because originally there's a Buddha nature there, and we are a living being. Okay, so does it mean our Buddha nature has decreased, or is it the same? You see? So, scholarly talks, okay? The point is that, so it's less or more, what difference does it make? Okay? Won't matter that much. 902. 7, the differences in whether the two truths are empty, existent, identical, or separate. 8, the differences in whether the 4 marks are simultaneous or have before and afterwards.
7, 二谛空有即离别。8，八相意识前后别。
903, for my master's disciples, Master Shenhua disciples, they have a whole team of well-educated and experts, linguistics experts as well, enlightened people who spend a lot of time translating this. So it's fair to recognize their good work they put in. Okay, this is very helpful, and we should really appreciate that. So we should take advantage of it. That's part of our small act of recognition that it's pretty good, the translation pretty good. So the 7 difference here is that the two truths, okay. There you go. And this is a concept that you should know. In Buddhism, this is important for you in your cultivation. Okay? So I want you to hear about this because you will go through these. Your cultivation will go through these phases. Okay? In order for you to become enlightened. Okay? What are the two truths? The two truths here, okay, meaning the primary truth and a relative truth. This is a Avatamsaka concept, okay? Primary truth is what? Everything is true. You are true. I am true. Orange face is true. Biden is true. How is it possible? I know the Go Forest people repulse in hearing that Biden is true because they're all Republicans in Go Forest. Look at them. Look at those faces. Okay? To them, it's only one truth. Okay? Republican truth. How can the Democrats be true? They struggle with that. I'm asking you. How can it be true? See, they're repulsed. Look at them. They are speechless. How can everything be true? Because everything is ultimately empty. We may differ right now. We may make fun of orange face right now, okay? Or they may make fun of, what's his new nickname now? Biden, with his disastrous performance. Sleepy Joe. See, you have a Republican here too. Senile Joe. When is he going to give up? I don't get it. Okay. Anyway, okay, but he's right. And then orange face is right because they're both empty. They may differ right now, but ultimately they all will die and return to emptiness. So whatever they do, it's only temporary. Fundamentally, they are empty. Fundamentally, God is empty. Fundamentally, Buddha is empty. That's why they're the same. That's a primary truth. No one is above it. Teiji Tsunim is true. Believe it or not, Daniel is also true. Yeah, you're laughing. Okay? Yeah. So the primary truth is that everything is empty. Okay? Nothing is real. What's the relative truth? Or also called mundane truth. And don't laugh because as in your practice path, I'm warning you. I will teach you to deal with these truths. What's relative truth? 7.
Thank you, Master. We have a comment here from Din Tai. He says, I think it's a he, I mean, everyone is a piece of a larger puzzle. Please correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah, you're wrong. Anyone? What's relative truth? There's no puzzle. What's relative truth? See, you have no wisdom whatsoever. You don't understand this. How are you going to ever become enlightened? Relative truth is that everything is real. You are real, of course, and so wonderful, may I say. Okay? Red cars are true. Yeah? Fame is true. Money is true. Profits are true. Love, of course, let's not forget love is true. See the two truths? How wonderful it is? Sinan cannot control herself. It's so obvious. Her mind is somewhere else. See, I simplify everything for you and you're getting bored to death regardless. Ungrateful. Never mind. This is PG-13. Huh? So you see, the two truths here in the world. If you have some wisdom, then you see everything is empty. If you don't have any wisdom, then to you everything is true. Money, cars, fame, love, you name it. It's true to you. God is true. Buddha is true. So that's a relative truth, meaning that it's true to you. It's not necessarily true to Junin Sunim, who's totally asleep right now. You see that? Okay? So those are true truth. Absolute truth is that everything is empty. Relative truth is that it's true for you, for her. So your truth might be different, but it's still true to you individually. God is true. Allah is true. Buddha is true. So what is the word of wisdom? It's called the third truth, which is the middle way. Because if you say only God is true, then you fall into relative truth. You are not able to process emptiness. You're so attached that you are slave to that truth. If, on the other hand, you are Hinayana people and said, I'm empty, you're empty, then you're stuck on that emptiness. You cannot help people like her who looks at being a nun is true. That's why she gave up everything to be a nun, because it's real to her. She doesn't know one day I will ask her to give it up. Okay? The middle way is in between. It's empty, it's true. Middle way is that sometimes it's true, sometimes it's empty. Depending on who we're talking to. How can you help someone who's so adamant about money while insisting that money is empty. Have you thought about it? If you go home and you talk to your husband, Michael, and says, "Hey, Michael, today I learned everything is empty," he's going to ask for for separation or divorce or something. I mean, you've gone cuckoo. Especially don't talk to your mom like that, because she's going to say, "When I die, I ain't getting a dime." Agree? It's self-defeating. Yeah, we know the money is empty, but sometimes it's not. And that's the middle way. Sometimes Buddha is real, sometimes it's not. Yes, sir. 5.
So my question would be, in Buddhism, there's such thing as universal truth. Like, for example,
Yes.
the Pure Land, they say,
Yes.
the Pure Land for me is empty because I don't think it exists for me. My point of view, that's my truth.
That is true.
So that is true.
Yes.
But universal truth, do we have
It's
something?
true to you, sir. And we need to respect it.
I understand and I respect.
Because if we didn't respect that, okay, we can't help you.
But in Buddhism, do we have something as universal? That is, it's always true no matter
Yes.
what?
Yes.
Okay, I was just curious
That's
about that.
the primary truth. If you have real wisdom, you will see that everything is empty. It's called true emptiness, which you will learn in the Avatamsaka Sutra. Okay? Mahayana must be able to help everyone. Catholic, Mormon, Buddhist, non-Buddhist, externalists, demons, and everything. Why is that? Because you're demon, because to you, it's so real. To the Catholic, God is so real. We need to respect it. Don't make fun of them. Don't deny them, because it lacks what? Respect, and it lacks compassion. Who are you to tell them that the Republicans are wrong or Democrats are wrong? You lack respect. Okay? That's why it's called relative truth or mundane truth. The truth that people in the world live by. We need to respect it and recognize it and embrace it, and that's called compassion. Without it, we cannot help them. In other words, those who do not embrace relative truth, what do? They, number one, have no compassion. Okay? Number two, what? They reject. And condemned. You see, the world of wisdom is not what you think. and it's not talk. You'll be trained accordingly so that your true wisdom will shine forth. Only in Mahayana do we understand how to do that. How to help you uncover the primary truth. How for you to embrace relative truth, and so that you can live as the middle way. Any problems? Yes, Evan.
You know, I find it really hard when I'm asked my opinion on things, because I don't fit in very well with others. I mean, you know, they want to hash out, let's say it's politics, or they want to talk about other things that maybe I don't really think about. I don't think about it like they think about. And I have to find a way so I care more about what they talk about.
You can't help them yet.
I know.
So what can you do?
I don't know.
You are not in a position to help them. I can't help them either. They won't listen. So what are we going to do? What do we have that can help them? We can't help them yet, but we can send them to the Pure Land so that Amitabha can help them. Yeah. We have an antidote already. You need to recognize your limitations. You can't help, then there must be other ways. Okay? And so those are the three truths that they're talking about. Are they empty, existing, identical, and separate? Okay, whatever. 8, the difference in whether the 4 marks are simultaneous or have before and afterwards. 4 marks, another concept. Okay? 4 marks are production, number 2, dwelling, change, and extinction. The world, as we know it, evolve, go through the 4 stages, okay, of existence. First, production. A world is born. The scientists call it the Big Bang, whatever. They will never be able to figure out how galaxies are formed, by the way. Never. Okay? They can't live long enough to be able to make the observations. Okay? And so production meaning is born. The equivalent of production is birth for us. Okay? And the big scale, the universe, our world is called production, and a smaller scale is us, is called birth. Number 2, dwelling, is that equivalent to old age for us. We grow up. We evolve. Okay? So it's a growth phase, you will. Okay? Dwelling meaning that it occupies space. It has its own identity. Okay? Number 3, change. Change here refers to decay. The world was born, a galaxy is born. Okay, again, scientists, doesn't matter how long, how much money they spend, how smart they are, they will never be able to understand production, how worlds are created. Okay, dwelling, certainly they don't, there's too big of a scale for them, too long of a time period for them to be able to understand it. Okay, and so dwelling is that you could call it growth, like our body grows and grows and grows. Okay, and then number 3, sickness is when the decays. Okay, it starts decaying, and the world starts decaying. Call it climate change, call it whatever. Okay, demonic destruction, whatever. But what is observed is that the world is go through a decay, a decline period. Okay, like us. Okay, our decline manifests itself as sickness. Okay, cancer. Decays of your bones, of your cartilages, and so forth. Okay? And finally, extinction. Everything will disappear, will die. Okay? Again, it's funny, and also very unfortunate because the scientists and so forth, they spend so much money, so much time, they will never be able to understand the world. Genesis, whatever they want to call it, okay, it's not the way they think. Only Buddhas would be able to see these 4 marks, okay? We can see it at a small scale in human life, birth, old age, sickness, and death. But the world is much, much longer evolution, also goes through the 4 stages, 4 marks. Yes, go first.
Emitofuo Master, what is the difference between the 4 marks and the 4 noble truths?
Because of the scope. You want to separate them because for human life, it's 1 through 4, birth, old age, sickness, and death are observable. But for a galaxy, okay, you can't live long enough to observe the 4 marks. Let's face it. You die way before that. There's no way for you to see this production, dwelling, change, and extinction of a galaxy level. And galaxy level is still pretty small. When you look at the universe, it has many, many, and countless galaxies. You can't even make the connection between one galaxy to the other, let alone to look at the entire universe itself. See, the scope is infinite. There's no way for you to get it. Only Buddhas can get it. Okay?
And the 4 noble truths, they cannot be applied to the human life, for example?
What truth?
The 4 noble truths?
4 noble truths? Yes.
Yep.
They apply to the human life, yes, absolutely.
But then how are they different from the 4 marks?
They are not different, they're different purposes. The 4 marks, it refers to how you describe life. The 4 noble truths refers to what you need to do in order to open your wisdom. So the teachings are different for different purposes. Okay? If you will, let's say the four noble truths are like the primary truth. Okay? And the 4 marks here are the relative truth, if you will. They're different purposes. Okay? and when the concept of production and so forth, sheng, or this is a Buddhist concept. Don't be afraid of it. Production, meaning you're just born, you just come into being. Okay, after production, there's the dwelling, there's change and extinction. Okay, and those four phases, are they? Is there a sequence, one after another, or do they happen simultaneously? Okay, so scholars really like to discuss these things. Yes, question. Was there a question? No? Oh. Okay, still have 5 more minutes. 9, the differences in whether subject and object in severing and certifying are identical or separate. 10, the differences in whether the Buddha's body is conditioned or unconditioned.
9. 能所断证即离别，10. 佛身无为有为别。
Okay, and more concepts for your reference. Okay, and don't worry, just listen to this so that you're not shocked or surprised. They cannot impress you with words and jargons. Again, because they don't understand what they're asking you anyway. So even if you understand, you're going to explain it to them. They're going to understand your explanation. So don't be scared, okay? There's a concept of subject, okay, and object. Subject is neng, okay? Subject is what is capable of or potential. Object is so, is the object, is the opposite of subject, if you will. Okay, so there's always a subject and object. Subject is you, object is outside of you. Just a concept. Okay, so is there a subject that certifies to, an object that was certified to? There's one who cuts off affliction, is the subject, and what is severed is object. Okay, and so they're talking about distinction of subject and object, but from a distinction perspective, but it's not that important for you to unfold your wisdom. Okay, but be aware of this concept of subject and object. 908, 10 is the differences in whether the Buddha's body is conditioned or unconditioned. Okay, so again, intellectual discussion, Buddha's body is a conditioned, unconditioned. Listen, the word unconditioned here is something that doesn't make sense to you, that you don't understand. Most of you don't understand this concept of unconditioned. Condition is that it depends on something for its existence. It's conditional upon something before it can be. For example, you are here because your existence is conditioned upon what? Anyone? Your parents. Yeah? You're born because thanks to your parents. So your existence, your life is conditioned upon your parents' union. Yes, 9.
Master, is the subject and object, is that those just the word? Is that the same as, like, let's say I'm afflicted at somebody broke into my car, and then the car would be the object, and then but the affliction is the subject? Or is that totally different from this?
Very good. Affliction is the state of the subject. You see, so how does it help? Who cares is object or subject? Just unfold my wisdom. Whether it's an object or whether it's a subject, it doesn't matter. Where's my wisdom? What do I need to do to open my wisdom? And in my feeling is that subject and object, knowing where subject and object doesn't really matter. Most of my students got enlightened. They don't even know what subject and object is. That's my proof. I don't give a damn about whether it's subject or object. Just help me become enlightened. That's all you care about. Okay? So that's why. But I want you to hear about it. And then the condition is that it depends on something else. Again, you're conditioned upon your parents. Okay? How about unconditioned? Meaning you don't depend on your parents. What is not depend on your parents? You find out when you become enlightened. Okay? So unconditioned is the world of enlightenment. Conditioned is the world of confusion. That's all you need to know. Okay? By the way, when I first started, I met a lot of Vietnamese monks who, because so many of us, some of them specialize in, say, I specialize in the study of the unconditioned, vô yi, yo yi. It sounds like yo yi. Okay? And they're proud of it. They say, I only study the unconditioned. I don't worry about the condition. And they don't even know what they're talking about. So don't be impressed by the people who say, I'm an unconditioned specialist, yo-ying specialist. Got that? They're trying to impress you. It's all nonsense. If you really understand the unconditioned, why would you try to impress people? Because impressing people is you are conditional upon someone else liking you. So how can you possibly understand the unconditioned? For me, it's very clear. I love Porsches. Therefore, don't talk to me about the unconditioned. Tell me about conditioned stuff. Do we understand each other? Got it? Okay, so nonsense. Buddha body is conditioned, unconditioned. And what is the answer? What is the answer? Both, idiots. And they spend time discussing this and argue and debating each other. I prove to you it's unconditioned because Sutra so-and-so, Shastra so-and-so says so. And the other, no, you're wrong. My Sutra over here says so. My Shastra over here says it's conditioned. And that's what the Indians spend time doing, debating each other. It's all nonsense. And we stop here tonight. Thank you, everyone.